Welcome to the Tribe of the Restored Warrior podcast, where coming home changed doesn't mean you're broke.
Welcome to the Tribe of the Restored Warrior. I'm Justin, and I'm joined by Dr. Ben Iobst. And today's topic, we're going to discuss wellness-oriented leadership. So some of the different leadership is, it's not just rank or title, influence, example, or responsibility. Leadership exists at all levels.
Yeah, absolutely. So something we need to really think about here and, really framing this kind of in the wellness community, making sure that we're not saying like we're talking about overall leadership here. I mean, where we bake this into the wellness side of things. So, there's your positional leadership, that's your rank, that's your title, that's your authority, that's that legitimate leadership, that we see with people that are promoted into positions. But we also have informal leaders, right? We have those individuals that have influence without the rank. And those can be really, really strong wellness leaders. Then we have servant leaders. Those are the people that, most of us in the first responder and the veteran world are servant leaders in a lot of capacities. We lead by serving others. Then within that too, there's also peer leadership. That's being a good leader, a good role model amongst our peers, really showing, being congruent, saying, if I'm saying it, I'm doing it. And then there's crisis leadership, right? That's the ability to lead well in high stress situations. And many of us can do that. But the thing that we need to think about here is, are we bringing our bad habits with us? One thing that in the veteran and first responder world, it's one of the most dangerous statements is "it's always been done this way" statement. And a lot of times that comes out of crisis leadership, right? We learn some really good skills as we go through the ranks or we serve in our roles, but we also maybe pick up some bad habits. And when there's a major crisis, a lot of times, I've seen even some of the best leaders, some of those bad habits start to come out. So we really need to make sure that we practice wellness-oriented leadership. And that means prioritizing the health of our people, the resilience of our people, and that in turn creates a sustainable organization or group. But within that, we have to role model those behaviors. So we can't just say, hey, do what I tell you to do, but I'm not going to do it too. Like I can't say to somebody, hey, I want you to take care of yourself. I want you to, watch your off-duty behavior, take care of yourself, have a good relationship with your family. But then as a leader, I'm out getting hammered on a regular basis, or not living or practicing what I preach. So we really have to make sure that we're showing our people what good sleep looks like. We can't say to them, hey, I'm prioritizing your wellness, right? But then we stick them on endless doubles, right? I can't say I'm prioritizing your family, but then when they have an emergency with their family, we're telling them to suck it up, right? So we have to practice what we preach. We have to make sure we get, a wellness triangle approach going. So if we're telling our people to be healthy, we need to make sure that we give them access to nutrition education, emotional wellness education, financial wellness education, and promoting getting help when necessary. And, one of the things that's really, really important there is, again, leading by example, disclosing. Me, for example, I've gotten help before, right? I still do to this day. I go to support groups, I get therapy when necessary, I exercise, I do nutrition. And if I'm telling my people to do it, I also have to disclose that I do it too. And being a little bit vulnerable, taking off that mask, because people want to be led by people, right? They don't want to be led by a system. And if we take off our masks and we say, hey, I've struggled and I got help, that's going to encourage our people to do that. Does that make a lot of sense to you?
Absolutely, it does.
And then within that, making sure that as leaders, in both informal and formal leadership needs to take care of itself. They need to ensure that they are taking care of themselves. The stress of leadership is heavy. So we have to make sure that all these wellness practices are being practiced in leadership side too, right? Because one, that's encouraging our people to take care of themselves. It's also making sure that we don't take those old bad habits, those old learned bad habits, and carry them forward. And really ensuring that, that professional support is there when needed. One thing to think about is you can't lead others from an empty tank. We have to make sure that we're fueling our tank ourselves. Within that, really making sure we're taking care of our own and our people's physical health, mental health, and emotional well-being, absolutely essential to have a strong, healthy organization, whether it be the first responder world, the military world, the supporting of either of those. We need healthy people, right? So the thing I always kind of think about anytime I'm doing something, especially within the wellness world or within any of the work that I do, is am I making sure that the people I'm working with are healthy, right? Am I making sure that they're emotionally healthy, physically healthy, financially healthy, right? So now we're coming in, we got a balanced individual. Then are they properly trained, right? Have we provided the training to make sure that they know what they're doing, right? And then are they properly equipped, right? Because if I say to them, hey, you're healthy, I've given you the training, but I need you to go and do a wellness thing in northern Pennsylvania during a snowstorm, right? And I haven't provided them with the proper way to get there, or at least the logistics to make that happen, I'm still failing them, right? And then am I properly supporting along the way? Is it like, go do this and hit me up when you're done, but I'm not going to be available to help along the way? That's a problem too, right? Got to make sure that we're supporting all the way through. And then after all those things are accomplished, that's where we can look at discipline, right? But there's like 3 levels there that I've got to make sure I do before I even begin to look at why somebody didn't meet the standard, right? Are they healthy enough? Are they trained? Are they properly equipped and supported? And if all those are met and all those are a positive, right, then it's discipline, right? But we have too many situations where discipline's the first to go to.
Yeah.
Got the unhealthy person, right? They got problems at home. And what do we go to? Discipline. And that's going to crush them. We didn't train. We didn't equip. We didn't support, right? And we expect them to accomplish a mission that's unaccomplishable. And what do we go to? Discipline, right? So we have to make sure that we meet those things. What do you think?
I mean, I agree with you. In my experience, a lot of times the discipline comes first, and then there's no area to learn or grow or anything like that. It's just the authoritarian type approach.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's really important, in closing, to remember that as leaders, we've got to clearly communicate that are the standards out there. We've got to make sure that we're taking care of people before we're demanding of people, and then providing the training and the resources to be able to meet those standards, and then role modeling what that should look like and addressing issues proactively, getting ahead of things, and rather than reacting to it. And then our discipline's the last step within this. And again, making sure that we're taking care of ourselves as leaders within the community, to be able to guide others. And again, a lot of us out there are leaders and maybe don't even realize it. They're the informal leader. I mean, the reality is, if you're a veteran or you're a first responder, somebody's looking up to you, and that means you're an informal leader. So we've got to role model the right behaviors.
Awesome. Appreciate that, man. So pretty much wellness-oriented leadership is not soft leadership. It's not, a lot of times I think it can be depicted that way. So people look at it that way, and that's not the case. Is it effective? It is effective and sustainable leadership styles. And final takeaways are strong leadership builds strong, healthy teams. So thanks for listening to another episode of the Tribe of the Restored Warrior. Tribe of the Restored Warrior works in collaboration, contributes to Vets and Badges, where real-life heroes share their trials and tribulations. Please check out www.vetsandbadges.com for more information.